got it? Just for you.
So this is from part of a series of stories I'm writing about some cats who fight crime. They all have Cockney accents. The two in this story have Cockney accents anyway. How about that one, Blackwell asked. The young man ground out his cigarette underfoot. He yelped and cursed because there was a hole in the sole of one of his Oxford blood loafers. Then took out a metal strip and inserted it into the keyhole of a Suzuki Jeep. After some jiggling and cursing, he managed to jimmy open the door, by which time Blackwell and Ragwell were right on. "You're late, son," Blackwell said. "Caught you bang in the act." The man had to look around for a while before he focused in on them. "I knew the government had cats spying on me," he said, as if this was a theory he'd been struggling to resist. "Nah, that's just your paranoia speaking," Blackwell said. "We do work for the government, Metropolitan Police Feline Division, but we've only been watching you since you came in here." "Frankly," Ragwell said, "we've bigger fish to fry." The man stared. "I should probably just tell you the truth," he said. "I'm a researcher for a famous crime novelist. She asked me to find out how hard it is to steal a car from a multi-story car park in Chingford, get a few realistic details to make the scene of the book more vivid. Cats are good at effortlessly communicating disbelief. You know her name, obviously, but I can't tell you that. Famous writer, though. More crime novelists work that way than you'd expect." "Sticking to this story, are you, son?" Blackwell said. "She fires me if I get busted. That's why I was hoping to bring this off. Bad writers imitate, good writers steal." Ragwell scratched his ear with his foot. "Who said that?" "Everyone said it," the man replied, "and all of them stole it from someone else." "Someone must have been the first person to say it, though," Blackwell argued. "Maybe not," Ragwell said. "Maybe the idea evolved gradually, and only once its classic formulation was perfectly articulated did it become a poignant enough concept for anyone to inquire into its origins, by which time the question was irredeemably muddied." "Now he's got that out of the way," Blackwell told the man, "we have a pressing need for a bloke with your talents." "It'll be excellent research and all," Ragwell said, "to tell your boss, the crime novelist, about." "I'm not really a cat person," the man said. "That's all right, sunshine," Ragwell assured him. "We're not really people cats." "What's she like then, this crime novelist of yours?" The man said, "All she does is write. I don't think she has a real life at all." "Nor do I," said Blackwell. "Get in the driver's seat." The man complied, and the cats jumped over his lap onto the passenger side. "Now hop by this piece of jump and we'll tell you where to go." London was the natural haunt of professional villains as well as the not-so-professional. Always had been. Blackwell's father helped sabotage the Wapping security deposit keeper. His grandfather had tripped a smash and grabber who almost made off with the Grecian diamond from Buffalo Green. Earlier ancestors had crept through the thieves' kitchens of Notting Dale, picking up scraps of information along with other scraps. It was a foregone conclusion that Blackwell would join the force. Ragwell's career had been less conventional. He'd been a theatre cat, a ship's cat, a bookstore cat. On account of joining up relatively late in life, he was technically Blackwell's subordinate, although Blackwell respected Ragwell's range of experience and drew on it assiduously. "I'll be honest with you," the man said, driving out into the street. "There's no crime novelist. The truth is, my mother raised me to be a car thief. Nobody attracts suspicion with a child in the back seat. I was small for my age until a few years ago when I had a growth spurt, and you see the problem, I no longer look angelic." "Not even slightly," Blackwell agreed. "So then my mum took off, haven't seen her since. I sometimes steal cars out of nostalgia. It's a way of trying to recover the memory, I suppose." "I believed your first story more." Right at the lights. "Are you going to tell me what this is all about?" "We're working on a case," Ragwell said. "That's all you're going to tell me?" the man said. "You haven't been exactly forthcoming with us," Blackwell pointed out. "Okay, so what really happened? This is a bit embarrassing. I got into an argument with my girlfriend. We saw this movie where someone stole a car. I said they were doing it wrong. She said I wouldn't know as they'd never have the guts to steal a car. So we argued and I got so cross I left the flat in the middle of the night just to prove her wrong. Plan was to drive it back, show the car, settle the argument, maybe have some hot sex, then return the car." If you come up with that one first," Blackwell said, "I might almost have swallowed it. What was the movie called?" "I forget movie titles." Ragwell said, "All your stories involve a woman who's disappointed in you. Maybe that part's true at least. I am definitely not a cat person." "Listen, we know you're a meth head," Blackwell said. "All these invented lines just reinforce the profile. Most car break-ins in North London are committed on meth nowadays anyway. It was the first thing we thought of. Maybe you weren't even exactly fibbing, Randall said. I think meth is your crime novice boss who makes you commit crimes to see how they turn out. Meth is your mother who used to give you a sense of purpose and then left you in the lurch. Meth is your girlfriend where the sex is great to start with, but then everything just goes haywire. You can tell he used to be a theatre cat, like I said. But think of it this way. How loquacious have postman cats tended to be in your pride experience? That's what I thought. So if a word from a couple of us won't persuade you to stop doing Persian rugs, don't you have to ask yourself, what will? The man's probably deepening despondency was the only indication we saw the force of his point. I don't have a job or a girlfriend, he admitted, and my mum's a Tory MP. I've had my own problems with catnip, Ragnar said. Lucy may be in the sky with diamonds, but she traced them all for a functional parachute. I stole that line and all he added. Reaching North Chingford, they parked in front of a 5-bedroom detached house. It was starting to spit with rain. Balakwa hated the country. He always felt like the trees were looking at him. He'd been almost to the edge of Epping Forest before, and it terrified him. North Chingford was much too far from central London to feel comfortable. He imagined the world outside London as a dark forest where things were always shifting outside the corners of your vision. So we jump over the wall together, like I said. We distract the pitbulls for you. You, Jimmy, open the trunk and bring out a brown paper elephant and castle. Did I mention the pitbulls? This is actually kind of fun, the man said. Let's get started. Just try not to get mauled like the last geezer who tried something like this with Carrie Boston. Okay, I'll stop there. Thanks.